I have been an admirer of his for quite some time, and I was thrilled that it could work out, that we could actually get him on the show, even if he's just passing through. Just an amazing fingerstyle guitarist and just wonderful arranger, and I'm so glad to welcome him into our family. Would you welcome Mark Kroos? Mark, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, man.
I'm so glad that you were able to be here with us. Can you open us up with a song?
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
What are you going to play for us?
I'm going to play my song Flight Attempt. It's one I wrote a long time ago. I'm feeling good today and everything, but it's one that I used to open every show with because it got me very just warmed up in front of the audience. I think of this song kind of like an old friend. It's very explosive, but it's not super difficult for me to play. And I love playing it. So yeah, I'll start off with that one.
Fantastic. Fantastic, amazing.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks.
Wow, just gorgeous. And you've got multiple guitars going on and capos and all kinds of craziness. How are they tuned? Would be one of the questions
well,
I have.
Yeah, we'll start with that. Currently, I have both necks in DAD-GAD tuning, D-A-D, G-A-D.
Okay.
D-A-D, G-A-D. And that for, fingerstyle guitar, for the tappity-tap style of fingerstyle guitar, I think DAD-GAD is where a lot of people start. And thank you, everybody. I see the comments. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Very kind of you. Except for the really mean person there. I'm just kidding. And so capos, DAD-GAD tuning. You've done playing in DAD-GAD and everything. I know you were playing in D before and everything. I wasn't sure if you were in DAD-GAD, but you're usually going to end up playing in the key of D. 9 times out of 10 in DAD-GAD, you're going to end up playing in the key of D. So then, if you look here, I've got capos at the 2nd fret, so that brings us up to the key of E.
Yeah.
And in this situation, I mentioned before I played the song, it's a pretty explosive song, as you heard. It's not that difficult for me to play. And I'll kind of break it down. It starts off with both hands playing in unison here. And you hear what that is. That's 1 and 5 right there of the scale. We're talking scale degrees there. Your do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like that. So I have 1 and 5 of the scale, and then 1 drops to 7 there. And then we come down. So we're outlining the 1, 5, and 4 chords. 1, 5, and 4, just like that if we were doing power chords. And then right hand comes up and harmonizes up the next inversion. So it's not everything up a third, but like it's whatever the next inversion of the triad is. So we were going like this. So it's just a harmony part up there.
It's gorgeous.
Walk it down with a minor. And then we come into both hands playing in unison here. And what I tell people is when both hands are playing in unison, it's not like walking and chewing gum at the same time. It's like chewing gum and chewing gum at the same time. So just both hands in unison. It's not anything too bad. And then the left hand comes and does this harmony part. But even there, it's in the same rhythm. So now in this tuning, the cool thing, my favorite part about DAD-GAD tuning, Steve, is the power chords. Because they're everywhere in DAD-GAD tuning. And of course they're here. That's kind of like our obvious way to use them in DAD-GAD like that. But they're also here between strings 2 and 4. And they're here between strings 3 and 1. So like sliding them around, and then you can kind of land like that. That's a 6. That's not a power chord. But I go, and it's just power chord city at that point. And then a walk down in unison. So, it's my song Flight Attempt. I love playing it. It's been such a blessing to have it for I've been playing it for over 12 years because it's really nice to have a song that's that energetic, but like it feels so comfortable. You know what I mean?
It just sounds so wonderfully intricate and delicate with all the harmony going on between the two parts. I love it.
Sounds great. Man. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Tell us about the instrument. We're a little bit familiar with that because we've had Ethan
you
Case
had Ian on here,
on the show.
So we're not the same person.
Y'all are not, and y'all are playing the instrument very differently. I noticed you are. This should be a 12-string, is what it's kind of designed for, and you just have it as a normal 6-string.
Yeah, and Ian plays this one as a 12. We literally play the same guitar, and this one he does keep as a 12 because he's insane. Like I don't want to tune 18 strings. I'm sorry, I don't want to tune that many strings. That's honestly the main reason. Is I have 3 of these, 3 of this instrument. And
really?
So I've tried using the upper neck as a 12 string sometimes. The other reason though is it's hard to tap with.
Oh
that.
Gosh, I can't see
it's
any human could do it.
It's twice as hard to tap when you have 12 strings on that upper neck.
Yeah.
So, I keep my action very, very low, but what I really end up having is I have 2 identical guitar necks. I don't always keep them both in DAD-GAD tuning, but I usually keep them both around there. One might be in open D and one might be in DAD-GAD. That's what I do pretty frequently. Okay. That's what I'll probably do for the next song that I play. And one tuning I really like is D, G, D, F sharp, A, D. So you can have the 1 in the bass or you can have the 4 in the bass.
Yeah.
It's really nice. I also will use a tuning sometimes that's where it's very different between the two necks. Where this neck, I'll capo at the 5th fret and put an open D, so this is like an open G, kind of. And then I'll tune this C, G, D, G, G, D. And you get a big expanse of low end. I mean, you don't usually tune down to a C. That's crazy talk, right? Yeah. And then you get a lot of high end on this neck. So it's nice.
How did you get started playing as a musician?
I was in the 7th grade and I didn't make the basketball team. You know, I had always grown up wanting to be a professional basketball player. My dad had been a basketball player in high school, and you know, I always really looked up to him. But then I ended up being 5'10", can't jump very high, and was really skinny kid, just I was never as good at basketball as was really required. And in the 7th grade, I had just started playing guitar before I tried out for the basketball team, and I didn't make it. And I was kind of like, well, I guess this is my thing now.
Did you come from a musical family?
Not
Was
at all.
anybody else in your family musical?
No, not at all. And I guess I shouldn't say not at all. My mom had shown me about 5 chords. First day of playing the guitar, we spent an hour switching from D to A7, back and forth. And I remember that because I tried a few times. And the classic thing that you hear from people is like, it hurt my fingers, or it was just too hard to not get the strings to buzz. And that was me. That was me the first few times I tried. And then I remember just sitting down one day in the 7th grade and saying, I am going to do this. This is what I'm going to do today. I'm going to spend an hour switching between these 2 chords. And if I don't like it, okay. Whatever. We're going to do this for an hour. And I love thinking about that because it's sort of what we do. I try to practice mindfulness meditation every day, and that's just breathing. That's just focusing on your breath, coming your attention back to your breath. And there's so much of your head that goes, I don't want to do this right now. It's just well, we're going to give it this time, know. And that was really how I started playing the guitar, was taking that hour and going, let's see, let's see what comes of this.
And you grew up in Michigan.
I do. I wanted to give a shout out to Barb if she's still on here. I saw Barb is said hello from Michigan. So in Michigan, our state is shaped like this very, very cold mitten that won't keep your fingers warm. And we point to our hand and we say, that's where we're from. So I don't know where Barb is from, but I'm from Lansing, which is kind of in the middle of the lower part of it. Great place to learn to drive.
We already have a couple of questions. Telleru is asking, do you know what model Ovation that is?
This is, I want to say, the CSE 225, CSD 225. I'm not sure what the difference is between the CSE and the CSD, but there were some years and some other years, but CSD 225.
Wow. Dave is saying he was in an accident, cut his finger, as many of us have, but his fingertip is numb with nerve damage. Do you have any suggestions on how to adapt with fingerstyle with numbness in your fingers? That's a tricky one.
I have experience with numbness in my fingers, not from any kind of accident like that. I'm thankful for it, and I'm sorry that you went through that, Dave. I have dealt with tendonitis and nerve pain. I would actually really encourage a book. And I know it sounds awful when you say read this book, because that's going to be like hours out of your life, right? But the nice thing about this book is you just have to go to the chapter on hands, read the introduction, and then go to the chapter on hands. And it's called Pain Free by Pete Agoscu.
Pain Free.
Yeah, and it's a series of stretches that are all about alignment. Now I realize everybody is different. And I wasn't dealing with an accident there. Like the nerve situation might very well only be in the finger, and I understand, but it's a series of stretches that are all about alignment. And I did this for pretty consistently for not even all that long, and I haven't dealt with tendonitis since. This was probably about 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Occasionally, my like left hand middle finger will go numb a little bit when I'm playing something really intricate. I usually just have to turn my neck that way, and it just kind of opens up the passageways. So I'd say, Dave, I'd say get the body as open as you can in a way. Check out that book, Pain Free by Pete Ogoscu, $15 on Amazon. But also in terms of, I imagine what you're really asking though is just how to adapt. You know, like, I guess, is it more the idea of going from this kind of fingerstyle to the tapping of fingerstyle? Because if that's the case, I would say get as comfortable with it as you can. Because nerve pain or numbness, in my experience, is one, uncomfortable, and two, scary. Like, it's just scary when all of a sudden your finger goes numb. And so the more, Dave, that you're able to sink into the uncomfortableness of it and make the uncomfortableness comfortable, then how uncomfortable is it at that point, you know?
You know, and I would add as well, just a little encouragement. You know, oftentimes you're going to be battling with something going on in your either in your learning, in your physical body, or something like that. And I think one of the most important things is just determine in yourself that you are going to make music out of this instrument, and determine it in your heart that you're going to be able to do it. My goodness, Phil Kagi is Phil Kagi, and he's missing a finger.
I always forget that about Phil.
If you look closely, he's missing a finger. So just, I think one of the most important things is just determine, I am going to make music out of this instrument. And if you can conquer that hurdle, then the rest of it is just figuring out some physical stuff. But if you don't get over that, then you'll never do it. So.
Like, I completely agree. The tunings, like, these tunings are awesome, Dave. Like, standard tuning is cool, don't get me wrong. Like, and I know a lot of, probably most of your followers here are working in standard tuning, and probably a lot on acoustic guitars. Yeah. And I love standard tuning on electric guitar. I really, really encourage people to explore Open D. Let me just,
illustrate that for a second,
real quick. Like, Open
So
D,
what are you tuning it to? What are the strings you're going to?
Currently, I'm going to D, A, D, F sharp, A, D.
Mm-hmm. Do you need a tuner? I've got a...
No, it's okay. So we're in Open D right now, and if you, like, they'll be able to, like, rewind this and everything if they want to. I call these 10th chords because the interval between this string and this string is technically a 10th. It's the same thing as a third, but brought up an octave. So a third would be like F sharp up to A, and it would sound like this. That's a minor third, but a minor 10th is like that. It sounds like that. And they're these beautiful, beautiful chords with these built-in suspensions. And the way that you treat it is chords of the scale. You say, that's your one chord. You just fret the third fret there on the third string. And I'm working everything between the sixth string and the third string. Your two chord is here, second fret and first fret, and that's your minor shape. Your three chord is there, but really it's a one chord in first inversion, meaning it has the third in the bass. Your four chord is here. And also, if you want to add this note on the second string, you can do that for each of them. That's the fifth of the chord. There's your five chord. And just listen to how nice those sound. And then your sixth chord is like that, or like that. And then you have your one up here too. You walk that down, that's a five. That's your five chord in first inversion. So one, you bring that one down to the seven, and that three down to the two there. How nice is that?
It's gorgeous. You know, you don't think of, I know I used to think of open tunings as, oh gosh, every note is moved and it's a whole, you don't think of it that way.
Don't think about the notes too much.
Yeah.
Like notes, you'll learn them. Like, you just gotta, like, let them come, sort of.
You've got certain strings are kind of like drone strings. The one or the five are good notes for that. And then the rest of it, once you can kind of get your bearings on the other notes, then you get all these wonderful ringing suspensions that are happening.
And I
down.
should clarify that everything that I just said about like this is the 5 chord, and it's like, well, no, it's the 5 chord, but like with an added full like 11 kind of, you know what I mean? But it functions as the 5 chord,
and it's beautiful because you have all this other stuff ringing. So, and it's not technically that hard to play. He was doing all of that with just 2 fingers.
Yeah.
So these open tunings work well for that. Now, you are running through a little line 6 stomp. Tell us about what that is and kind of show us some of the...
stomp. I've been really happy with line 6 stuff. I'm not sponsored by them or anything yet, line 6. But no, I really have been. You get these brands, like I always think it's really funny with line 6 too, because when I was like coming up playing the guitar, they had just done their Spider series line, which was, you know, like metal practice amps. So they got like a little bit of a bad rap there for a while. And I remember I was playing a festival in Idaho. I was playing through a PA and I loved the sound of it. I was like, what is this PA? I must know. And I looked and it was a line 6 PA. I was like, no way. So I started looking into the Helix line. And the first thing I got was the Helix LT. And, you know, the floor unit, and great unit. It was awesome. But then I started getting booked, my headliner show started getting booked on cruise ships. And it would have taken up just so much of the luggage. And this does everything that unit will do. It's just you've got to finagle around a few more buttons here and there. And so I went with the HX Stomp XL. It just, I like to be able to add some reverb. I like to be able to add, like, I've got a button for simple mid-cut that I keep on this channel pretty much all the time. I've got a compression mix, like I've got some compression on my signal, but then I can hit this button and it ups the compression. So I use that for a few songs. Compression is pretty important for my sound. It's really more, it does kind of allow me to bring out some of the melody notes that I don't maybe hit quite as hard and sort of even things out a bit.
Hey, what are you going to play for us?
I'm going to play Swing Low, Sweet Chariot.
Wonderful.
This is one of my favorite arrangements that I've ever gotten put together. You know, and I play in a lot of churches and I play in a lot of secular arenas, and not like arenas, but a lot of secular venues. And it's I was trying to just think of something that would work really, really well in both of those. And I got this. And my favorite part of the song is when the right hand plays the melody, and then the left hand goes. And I love the way it lines up. And so just listen for that in the song. It really is one of my favorite arrangements. Oh, a 2, 1, 2, 3, swing low.
Fantastic. Wonderful.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks a lot.
I just
Thank you,
love
folks.
so much you're arranging. Different from Ian Ethan Case, who's doing a completely different thing. You have accompaniment going, you've got the melody going, you've got the tapping. There's just so many layers. It's almost like stride piano or something in that situation.
Well, and it's funny. It's so funny that you had Ian on here, and I haven't talked to Ian in years, but we started around the same time. Don't tell anybody, but he started a little earlier than I did. I always think of Ian as treating the whole thing as one instrument.
Yeah.
That's how I think of his playing. I don't know that that's how Ian thinks of it. I usually do. There are definitely times that I think of it all as one, where it's like I'm playing one part between the two hands, but I'm primarily thinking of it as two different guitar necks.
Yeah.
Anybody that plays this style or this this technique of tapping, whether it's on a single neck or two guitar neck, it's all of their previous influences come out. So it's really interesting to see from different guitar players, like the metalheads. They're playing metal, but with fingerstyle guitar.
Yeah.
You know, people that play jazz, Stanley Jordan
Oh,
plays
of course,
jazz with fingerstyle guitar. You know, for me, I grew up on punk rock. Believe it or not, a bunch of 90s pop punk is actually what I'm playing on fingerstyle guitar. I know it probably didn't sound like that, but that's really where I get a ton of my influence. My chordal, most of my songs are 4 chords, and also I grew up with a lot of George Winston being played in the house. My mom put on the album December all the time.
A classic.
Oh my gosh, I've listened to that album 1,000 times. I absolutely love it. But he's been, all those Windham Hill guys were huge influences on me.
Yeah. Blaze the trail.
The big ones being George Winston and Michael Hedges,
Yeah.
the obvious ones.
I love the approach to arranging that you do, and you've done several pop songs, and where you're kind of doing that approach on it. Can you play something else? Oh, we've already got. Let's answer a couple questions, and we'll go back to that.
One of them, somebody had asked if they're original arrangements, and they are my arrangements. You know, to say anything is my arrangement that isn't your original song feels kind of funny. I love arranging and I love composing. I love taking a song and being able to put my own spin on it, particularly something in the public domain like Swing Low, where you can do, like, you've kind of got free reign with anything that's in the public domain to really, really work with it. And it's just so much fun. You know, it's a really just like a blessing to get to do it.
Keith is asking, Mark, what drew you to the double necked, and do you play any other types of guitars or instruments?
Yeah, with the double neck guitars, so I went to music school in Bowling Green, Ohio. I didn't do particularly well in music school. And by the time I dropped out of the music program, I still finished a 4-year degree that somehow has the word music on it. But I started teaching after college, and I loved it. I really, really enjoyed it. And in that time, I got into the music of Michael Hedges. I started playing, I learned Ragamuffin. I learned part of Aerial Boundaries, because that song is way too hard to play. And then I started writing some of my own tunes, and I'm really glad he asked about this. I can't play this entire song right now. I tried playing it the other night, and it got really sloppy, but it'll be a good demonstration. Right now I have D, G, D, F sharp, A, D, and D, A, D, F sharp, A, D, so open D here. And so I had this song, and this is before I had the double neck guitar. I'm doing this on a single neck guitar, and I'm going. And I wanted to put this on top of it. I'm actually going to demonstrate on this guitar neck because I was in open D as I was doing it, so like that. And then I wanted to do this. But when you try to play those two parts together at the same time on one guitar neck, your hands, they're right in the same area and everything. And maybe if I'd been a good guitar player at the time, I would have just found a different place to play it, but, like all the haters are going to say that, but whatever. So I set up in another guitar, like laying flat on a keyboard stand in its case with the case open. I used my right hand to play this part and add in the bass. This is what I was talking about this tuning of D, G, D, F sharp, A, D, where you can have 1 in the bass and 4 in the bass. Those are the only 2 chords I ever used. And that's really how it started. But like that, a few days later, I said, I wonder if they make a double neck acoustic guitar. And I found, Ovation does. I found my original Ovation double neck on eBay for $500 at the time.
Yeah.
I didn't have a lot of money, but I said, I'm going to get that guitar. If it doesn't work for what I want to use it for, I'm going to sell it on eBay again and get my money back.
Yeah.
And that was 2009. The day it showed up in the mail, it just, especially after practicing like this, everything got real easy, real fast.
Yeah.
Obviously it still took a lot of practice, but it was really funny going from having to watch this hand and watch this hand to being able to see. I can see everything from
both,
the third fret all the way up to the 17th.
If someone is wanting to just kind of dip their toe into the tapping, like you're doing, do you have a simple exercise or something that would be a place that you would start somebody?
What I would suggest doing, frankly, is I would learn songs. I have been an exercise person, and they do work. I've done the flat picking, 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 speed building, arpeggios. I have always on electric guitar geared my practicing towards improvisation. So things that I could use in a solo is sort of what my practice had always been. On acoustic guitar, it's learning songs, learning passages. For myself, as a composer, as an arranger, the way that I usually practice is I arrange something. What do I want to learn how to play? I arrange it. I have to practice it a certain amount as I arrange it, but then that's what we do. And that's how I practice a lot of the time. So what I would suggest doing is when you're starting out, I learned a few songs. I learned Ragamuffin by Michael Hedges. I learn this one. Learn this one. You will want to learn this one. Learn Drifting by Andy McKee. The biggest fingerstyle guitar song that there is. Learn it. It is not easy, but you can learn it. You can learn that song. And there are probably tons of YouTube tutorials to show you how to learn Drifting by Andy McKee. Callum Graham is a killer player, right?
Yeah,
Isn't Callum? He is phenomenal. He's got some really, really good songs. I can't think of, I know I heard somebody covering, I want to say his song Phoenix Rising, but I don't think that'd be a particularly easy one to play. Another guitar player I really like is Manelli Jamal. Do you know who I'm talking about?
The name's familiar.
Phenomenal acoustic guitarist, and maybe my favorite guitar player. I realized it the other day. I did a song with him a year ago. He's a Toronto guitar player. His name is Dylan Reich, Ryche. The best melodies and groove come from this guy. It's just amazing. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because these are all guitar players that play single neck guitars. And not all of them do a lot of tapping. Callum does tapping. Manelli does tapping. I don't know how much tapping Dylan does, but these are all guys that offer tabs on their websites. And they're learnable songs. They really are. So learn songs, do it that way, and then write your own, because it's the most fun thing ever.
Orchard Park Band is saying, is the action of your Ovation set really low? Or in some special way so that you can tap that easily.
Let's see if
it
we
is
can get
pretty
it
low.
On camera at all. It's incredibly low. It's lower than probably most electric guitars that you've played. I don't know if the camera is really going to be able to show that. Sorry, those were terrible notes. But we're in open D there. So it's incredibly low. It's really, really right next to the frets. That's something I've found about Ovation guitars that works really, really well for the tapping is for some reason you can get the neck so straight, you can get the strings so low to the fingerboard. And another nice thing too is I'm not crazy about piezo pickups. They're not everybody's favorite pickups. They quack. Ovation makes the best piezo pickups though. They really do. I know those are fighting words and everything, but I'll stand by those any day. That if you're going to get piezo pickups, Ovation makes the best ones. And the nice thing about piezo pickups for the tapping style is they're not very body sensitive. If I tap on the body, I'm guessing that's probably not going to come through the line very much. You might hear it on the mic a little bit there. But the nice thing about that is you get almost all this sound and not a bunch of the sound
Yeah.
between the fret and the nut, not a bunch
Yeah.
of the buzz.
Yeah.
So it's just worked out really, really well with these guitars.
Can you play something else? What are you gonna play for us?
Let's do my song "Lose the Shoes." This is one that has a fair bit of multiple parts going at the same time, and it's a really, really fun one to play.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks a lot.
I love the groove. I love you were able to just get so many different things going on with that. Love it.
Thank you, man. Thanks a lot. Yeah, I love playing that song. That's really just kind of meant a lot to me. And yeah, just like kind of having that sort of like Prince feel and everything with those repeated 1 and 5s there. It's just a really, really fun one to play. I love the physical nature of the guitar. Like, I love the way that it just feels.
Yeah.
You know, just in your hands and everything, just all of it. Yeah, it's really cool. It's just a gift to get to do it, you know?
Keith is asking, are you familiar with the Martin double neck?
I am not at all.
I am not either.
No, I did not know that this existed. So, yeah, this...
We will have to check that out. What are you going to play for us?
Let's do Canon in D.
All right.
For it. So, yeah, we'll go ahead and do that one. And, I've said this about every arrangement. It's like one of my favorite arrangements to play. But we were talking about George Winston, and ever since you know the album, so you know his variations on the Canon. Well, my arrangement is not anything like his, but it really inspired me a lot to hear that. From the age of about 16, I said I want an arrangement of Canon in D.
Yeah.
And I never thought it would be on the double neck guitar, but this is it.
Thank you
Thanks,
so
Steve.
much, Mark.
Thanks for having
It
me,
was
man.
so just
For
a
real.
joy getting to meet you, and I'm so glad that you were able to make a few hours to come by and
Yeah, man.
be a part of the
Yeah.
show.
Always great to come to Nashville and just really, really great hanging out with you guys. Like, this has been a blast.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Hey, if you want to check out Mark's stuff, you can go to markkroos.com. Thank you all that have been a part of tonight. I want to also thank our crew. We've got Jordan Mullins has been producing the show. Diane, our wonderful moderator, she's been doing that. And we've got a new, Rebecca is helping us out with the chat tonight. So thank you, everybody, for being part of it. Keep up the great work in your own guitar playing. Making music is an amazing thing. We will see you guys next time.